Hi everyone and welcome back to No Book Left Behind. I'm your host Mark, and today it's a bit of a different video, as you may already have noticed. This is a kind of slice of life thing, I suppose, which I'd never really intended to post, but needs must. This is an apology video for the fact that there was not a video last week, but as you'll see there was a kind of extenuating circumstances, shall we say. And and also apology for the raw quality of this footage, because I'm doing this on my iPhone. My setup still exists, it's still okay, but I can't actually use it at the moment. I've got no power in my house and haven't had for a few days, I'm afraid, due to, well, what I'm about to talk about. So actually I don't know when you'll be seeing this, because I don't know when I'll have the facilities to post it. So you'll have to forgive me if what I talk about, the time frame seems a little bit skewed, or I used the wrong tenses or something, I don't know, whatever. Anyway, let's just get on with it instead of me rambling, because I'm going to take you on a quick journey through my house. So let's flip the picture, let's head out, and I've turned on a torch so you can pretty much see a bit more about what's going on, or what has gone on, shall we say, perhaps would be the best way of putting it. It'll still be a bit dark going down these stairs, so apologies if you can't see very much. This is quite difficult for me to do, holding a camera and a torch. My balance isn't the greatest, which you might have noticed by the jiggly picture. Okay, so we're out in the hallway now. You might notice things look a bit dirty. Well, yeah, I'm not that bad a housekeeper, but yeah. Okay, let's go into the main scene of the action and take a look at, and across to here. Yes, in case you hadn't worked out already, there's been a fire, and quite a bad one, which has damaged quite a lot of stuff around here and left the place covered in soot. So let's take you into the kitchen dining area, where I can flip the picture back and pretty much tell you what's happened, the plans immediately for the future of the channel. So yeah, let's put you down, and then we'll flip the picture and talk about that. Yeah, so, must remember to look at the camera. It's a bit difficult to remember where I need to look when I'm using my iPhone, otherwise it looks like I'm just looking off in the other direction somewhere, doesn't it? And you're also getting the reflections in my glasses, sorry about those, but yeah, I can't really bother putting my lenses for this video, to be honest. Anyway, so what happened? Well, on the evening in question, my lord, which was actually the early hours of the morning of Tuesday, May the 12th, which at the moment is about a week ago. Yeah, some persons unknown decided it would be a really fun idea to lob a petrol bomb through the front windows of my house and set my lounge on fire. I was asleep upstairs at the time when it happened, although obviously the sound, the twin bangs, if you like, of the stone coming through the window, followed by what was most probably a Molotov cocktail in a wine bottle. Yeah, they woke me up, as you might imagine they would. So yeah, I came running downstairs, naked, because I sleep naked. Sorry to share that with you. I know that's probably a gross image you really could do without. Sorry, but it is kind of relevant to the story, because when I came down and went straight to the lounge, the curtains were ablaze. The whole area around the window was absolutely ablaze. And instead of doing the sensible thing, which I would seriously just urge you to do if you're ever so unfortunate this kind of incident occurs in your life, I didn't just put on some warm clothes, some good footwear, open the front door, go out into the street with my mobile phone and call emergency services, because that's what I should have done. But I didn't do that, because I thought, very stupidly, it would be a great idea to fight the fire. So I attempted to do that. So there was lots of running backwards and forwards with buckets of water for 5 or 10 minutes as the place filled with smoke. I'd been flipping on all the light switches to help me as I went, but unfortunately, of course, as the smoke got thicker, it didn't make any difference. I couldn't even tell that they were on anymore. Someone bashed on my front door, which is right by the lounge out in the hallway. And so I realised that there were people about. In fact, I could see them out on the street through the flames. So I bashed back to let them know someone was in. And then I ran upstairs to put on some clothes, which is, you know, as I say, that's why I shouldn't have, that's why I shouldn't have, you know, like just tried to fight the fire naked, really. It's probably not a good move. Yes. So I ran upstairs and grabbed some clothes to put on, ran back down again. By then I could barely see anything. It was black as night. I grabbed my keys from the place where they're hooked in the hallway near the door, which is good because that's the only source of light was coming through the glass panels of the door. And I was able to get my keys and get to the door. Unfortunately, the light was so bad at that point I couldn't actually see the keyhole properly to get the keys in. So I had to walk back a couple of steps, grab this very device you're watching this on, my iPhone, and use the light from that so I could actually see the keyhole, get the key in, get the door open, get out on the street. And just as I did that, the emergency services arrived. The police were there within about 20 seconds of me getting outside. I was hustled into the back of a police car, wrapped in the old silver foil, given some oxygen and everything. And at that point, sometime at that point, I couldn't really see what was going on because it was all happening behind me. The fire engines turned up and the fire brigade put the fire out, and I was taken to an ambulance by some very good paramedics and taken to the hospital because two things: I'd cut one of my feet on some of the broken glass without realising it. I was bleeding all over the police car. And also, obviously, there was danger of smoke inhalation damage to my lungs and airways and stuff. So they took me off to the hospital, although I seemed okay and I seemed perfectly fine. But they kept me in for several hours, actually, just put me in on a bed in a ward somewhere. Came through and checked me occasionally just to make sure that I was showing no signs of any serious problems. And I wasn't. My breathing was fine. Got a visit from the DC who had caught the call because obviously this was an arson attack, so it's a criminal investigation. And so I gave her my statement and they were saying, by the way, that it was mistaken identity was the only thing they could think of. In fact, I can't recall whether I've said this in this video or not already, actually, but there's nothing in my life before or afterwards that could actually have made me a target for this kind of an attack, because it was a targeted attack, unless there was someone out there who didn't like one of my book reviews very much. I guess it could be that, I suppose. No, seriously, it seems to be a case of mistaken identity. There's nothing else the police could come up with, nothing else that I can come up with. Anyway, they let me out of hospital around midday, I think it was, at which point I had to get a taxi. I had no shoes, which was a bit unfortunate, because there was a point actually when they put the fire out before I went in the ambulance where one of the very kind emergency services people had said, could I grab a bag full of stuff that you'll need? And I named a few things that I needed, my medication, some clothes, stuff like that. But I forgot about footwear, and so did he. So I had nothing on my feet basically apart from a pair of socks. So I got a taxi anyway. I got a taxi from the hospital around to a friend's who was kindly allowed me to stay the night before I came back here the next day after collecting the keys from the police station. And that's where we are right now, because over the last few days and subsequently over the next few, I'll be getting a lot of visitors from the insurance company, insurance companies plural, because I had buildings and contents with different companies, due to just the cost of it, which perhaps looking back it made things a little bit more complicated than perhaps they needed to be. Maybe I'll combine those two things in future. But they're visiting. I've got the CCTV people visiting because I'm probably going to get some sort of system installed. It's fair to say I don't plan to stay here long term now. But on the other hand, it would be quite a while before I was able to move anywhere. So yeah, it seems sensible to have some security put in, doesn't it? never felt it was necessary really. This is not a particularly rough area of the city I live in. Yeah, I didn't see this coming in any sort of way, shape or form at all. So that's all the explanation I can give you at the moment. Only to say that obviously there's no power. I don't know how all my techie equipment has been affected by the temperatures of the fire, so I'm not sure how much of that will still work. I mean, obviously this iPhone still works, but yeah, so when I'll be able to next update or upload rather any videos, I really don't know, but you'll have to bear with me. Hopefully it won't be too long. So in the meantime, that's it. All I can say is hope you're well. I'm doing okay. I'm over the whole thing, except obviously the circumstances of it are going to drag on for quite a while. So that's it for today. As I say, all I could do is apologise that I'm not posting videos at the moment, apart from this one, but I'm sure you will understand. So that's it. Thank you very much. I will give you my usual closing. Oh, let's do it anyway. Please keep looking through those narrow side streets of your town, avoiding those firebombs and finding those second-hand bookshops where there are treasures that only you can find. Be seeing you soon, I hope.